Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abigail B, and if you're new here, where have you been? I am so pleased that you've found this channel, and if you're a subscriber and you're coming back, thank you very much. Welcome. Now on this video I am going to be talking about something that you may be a little bit alarmed, maybe it's triggering you. That's good, because that's the reason why you're here and you want to know more and why I've made that statement. I'm going to elaborate on this because it's not just clear cut, and I want to explain why. Why should we stop using the color white? Now, white is a very neutral color and it goes with various different design styles, various different colors, an undertone that brings up the different kind of variations in color. It is paramount, it's actually necessary. However, in its predominance is what we need to lessen. Now, I have seen over time how the use of white have been used very badly, and it's not just a trend thing, but I think over time we are now being a little bit more experimental and introducing other colors in there, whilst white being in the background. However, there's so many different types of whites. It's not just plain boring white, you know, the deluxe brilliant white. No, there's variations. We want to bring some warmth to it. We want to add a bit of the hues to it. And when I'm always with my clients, I always encourage them to, if they do want to go with white, to go with a warm white. I think there's probably, that I know of, there's probably about 50 shades of white in its essence. And it's all about the different kind of undertones that these types of whites have, and it complements different colors as well. So for example, if you wanted to go with black, using a brilliant white is a massive contrast, and it just doesn't look very good because it looks like it's fighting amongst each other, and it doesn't complement the space. It doesn't feel collected. In fact, it feels very separate, like, you know, when you add water, like when you add oil and water together. That kind of balance is what pure white and black does. So bringing it together means that you want to add some warmth to the white as well. So perhaps have one that has like maybe a brown undertone to it, and then you toning down the black a little bit as well, and then bringing it together does work very nicely, which is what I've gone for in my living room. However, if I had my own way, I would probably do all my walls black, because there's something that black does to me. As you probably see in my videos, I'll do wear a lot of it. It's just a color that really does resonate with me really well and makes me feel very safe and secure and collected. Having white in predominance definitely does look very clinical. It's giving like laboratory kind of feel. It looks very cold and uninviting. So in certain spaces, I would say in residential properties like your home, you don't want that, because you want to walk in the space and feel very, you know, warm, collected, invited, very comfortable. And you don't get that when you're having all these screaming colors in your face, which is what white does. So let's get to rooms so you can really resonate with this. So for example, in your kitchen, having this all white look, which we used to have before, and it was definitely a trend, is going out of style now. Look at it. It just looks very cold. It looks like you can't even cook in there. It looks very unrealistic. So if you do like the white, maybe bring it in lesser value. So maybe having like a white countertop, you know, bring some veining in there with your marble, your calcutta, your viola, or maybe if you want to add a little bit of mosaic in there as well. So just bring some patterns so that it's not so intentional with the white, but it's there in its bases. So you can do that, and then maybe add some brown to your cabinetry, or blue or green, whatever color that you like with that. And then again, if you want to bring some white in there, perhaps with your lighting or your flooring, but again, making it so that, you know, it's done in a very collective way, and it's bringing everything together and not bringing too much of a contrast in the space, as you can see here. The same thing with your living room and other various places in your home when we're going about with lighting. Now, even with lighting, if you're bringing in white, such as like your cool whites, in certain spaces it doesn't look good. I probably won't even suggest bringing that color in any space in your home, maybe in your kitchen, but even that. So even if you're having spotlights and you've got the white, there's still an undertone in there that has to bring a bit of warmth, maybe with the walls, of your colors of your walls. So if you've got like spotlights, try not to go with like bright colors in there, because it just looks very I don't know, it's just so busy in your mind. You walk in there, you don't even know where to look because there's just too much going on visually because of the lighting. So toning it down with your wall colors, I would say definitely even bring in warm white. Just tone it down with the white in there. I know sometimes if you have chandeliers, it's sparkling and there's a reflection of white light just flashing everywhere. So the textures that you have in your space, your furniture pieces, that will help to kind of reduce and absorb some of the lighting that you have in there, and it will help it to kind of lessen a bit more. Even in your bedroom, when you have your white bedding, which I definitely would advocate because it just brings that kind of hotel feel in your space. So with that as well, you're going to be like, you're going to bring one white in your bedding? Perhaps not, but think about the surroundings with it as well, because again, you don't want to walk in there and you feel like, oh my gosh, should I even be sleeping in this bed? This is too much. Like, have you ever walked into a hotel room and you're looking at the bed, although it's very like, puffy, and the bedding is just so like cozy, and I'm trying to think of the right words, you do want to dive straight into it, but you do have a sense of like, oh, this is very sterile, like I don't know how I'm going to be laying my head in, so I have to like pop a bath and clean my face before I enter that. I don't want to leave any marks, and it's pressure. We don't want that kind of pressure when we're in our home. So yes, have the white bedding, but perhaps maybe bring in some like cushions that are of a different color, different shade, maybe like a neutral beige cream in there. Bring in some texture, throw in a throw in there as well, maybe like a nice bedspread that goes with the aesthetics of your room. So again, you're just toning down that very sharp white that your bedding is bringing in there. It warms it down, it's a bit more comfortable to your eyes, it's more inviting, and yeah, it just looks so much more better. It's more elevated as well. So yeah, definitely I would say go for this, and let's stop the very bright white kind of bedding in there as a collective. You know what I mean? The next thing you want to tone down with your whites as well, again, you're going to be like, is your curtains. Now, obviously, I always try and advocate for having like veil sheer curtains in any space, especially like in living room areas, like floor to ceiling. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, yes, obviously you go for like a white because it does really well with like absorbing the sunlight. And even when it does absorb the sunlight, it doesn't give that kind of a very streak, bright white look. It has this kind of like nice undertone of beige in there. But how you can kind of differ from that is maybe going for like a linen, something that has a softer texture even though it's white, because when the light does touch into it, it really does help to subdue it, and it bounces off a very nice, beautiful kind of beige color to it rather than it just being white. And you'll get that more of other materials such as like nylon or certain cottons. It just looks too much. So maybe just go for a different type of variation of the white, maybe like an ivory white, or perhaps maybe like an oatmeal white that looks more nicer. And when there isn't much sunlight, it just looks really well in a room. It gives that kind of very subdued, cool, nice environment. As you can see here, it still gives that kind of clean, nice aesthetic to it, but not doing too much. It's not in your face. I definitely would advocate for that if you're going for your veil curtains that are white. And the main reason why I'm saying like let's stop with the white is because of two things. It is actually inadvertently a bit boring if you just stick to white. When you get like a brand new show home or like a new built home, they would go for like white. I know in the past they would go for like a magnolia. I know what they're trying to do there, but now it's just like this white. But what they're saying to you is like, this is a blank canvas. It's a plain sheet of paper. Do your most, like bring yourself into it and make your house a home. It's not saying just go with what's there. So don't feel like just because it's in that space you have to leave it that way. Definitely not. Can be slightly uninteresting to say the least. Another thing was just going with like pure white as well, is that it gets quite dirty very easily, especially on your walls or other sections like lampshades and other various materials. Just having it on its own picks up a lot of dirt. It attracts dust, and any type of dirt that's in the environment, you will definitely see it straight away. And I'm not saying pick things just to hide the dirt, but dirt is inevitable, like it's everywhere, and this is why we have to upkeep and constantly keep cleaning. So if you want to make your life a little bit easier, I would say go with something that obviously obviously is a little bit more subdued, so when it's picking up dirt, it's not so, you know, highlighted, it's not in your face. Even when you're using your white for areas such as your woodwork, go for one that's more like a satin material, so it's easier to clean. And again, with that, you know, you're not going with the bright shiny white with that, like I know back in the day, like the silk, you know, this that shiny kind of yeah, we don't want that. We want to again try and like just subdue it a little bit, add a little bit of satin, so it has a little bit of sheen to it. It's easier to clean, but it's still giving what it needs to give, and it's giving a nice fresh look. Now I hope you understand now why I'm saying like let's limit the white. Let's stop using white altogether. I don't mean it as a blanket statement. I just want us to look into it a little bit more and be a bit more experimental and widen things out, push the boundaries a little bit more with white instead of going with this pure brilliant white. And I feel like we are doing quite well with that of recent. But yeah, just keep going, avoid certain kind of looks with the white. Yeah, and yeah, let's bring something that's a bit more inviting, a bit more different in 2025. Now I hope you got this video, I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you're going to use it, share it with people that you feel like it needs to be shared to, and make sure you come back for more videos where I show you and tell you how to really optimize your space to meet its full potential. Now I will see you again next week. Bye.